Now at 7 o'clock, a Gresham police officer set for arraignment in just a few hours. He's indicted on more than 50 counts of sexual conduct with a minor. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us live with the latest.
Plus 3 calls in just 2 hours. We'll look at fires that broke out across Portland overnight, plus 2 that caused a large response.
Also coming up this hour. Yeah, it's a look at this weekend's Pickathon. This is the 25th year of the Music Fest. We'll hear from the festival's founder what he had to say about 25 years of music as we kick off the 7 o'clock hour of Sunrise right now.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 7 o'clock on your Friday. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. We are not alone here.
Nope.
We have Rodney Hill with us as well.
Bring it
Rod's
on in.
the Weather Center.
Hey.
What do you got for us there, Rod?
Really nice day coming up. I'm going to start where it's cloudy once again. This is along the beach of Snoqualmie Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. There's actually a dense fog advisory up and down the coast this morning. The cameras that show where it's really socked in are up north, Gerhardt, Seaside, Astoria area. But here even you can see the fog over the head, so you don't have to get up in elevation very much. We're looking generally for a partial clearing today along the coast. Willamette Valley, partly to mostly sunny day coming in a very nice Friday. There's the Capitol being lit up by the sunshine. 61 degrees is the early morning number. Mostly sunny clearly over downtown Portland. We're at 60. I have a 72 at noon and then getting up to around 84 for high temperature, which by the way is the exact climate average temperature for August 1st. That's your update.
Thank you, Rod. All right, let's take a look at your drive times. Looking very good this morning. Brookwood Parkway to I-405, 13 minutes. Troutdale to I-5, 15. And Wilsonville to Markham Bridge, going to take you 17 minutes.
A Gresham police officer is set for arraignment this morning. He's indicted on more than 50 charges of sexual misconduct with an underage girl.
Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us in downtown Portland outside the Justice Center. So, Thomas, what more do we know here?
Yeah, well, guys, Hector Carranza, that Gresham police officer, was arrested Thursday afternoon after a grand jury indicted him on dozens of charges. Among those charges, Carranza is accused of rape, sex abuse, using a child in a display of sexually explicit conduct, among other charges. Carranza has been with the Gresham Police Department since 2014 and is now on leave. The Gresham Police Department began investigating Carranza after receiving a complaint last year. The Multnomah County District Attorney's Office says none of the allegations Carranza is accused of relate to on-duty conduct or any criminal investigations he was a part of. In a statement, Multnomah County District Attorney Nathan Vasquez said, "Nobody is above the law. When a police officer breaks it, we have a duty to hold them accountable, just like anyone else." Both Oregon State Police and the Multnomah County DA's office are investigating Carranza. He's expected to be in court for arraignment today at 9 a.m. Guys.
All right, Thomas Schultz live at the Justice Center downtown. Meanwhile, parts of Gresham are still under a boil water notice this morning. A temporary loss of water pressure may have caused harmful bacteria to enter the city's water supply. This notice impacts residents in the Kelly Creek neighborhood and nearby areas. People there should boil the water for a full minute, then let it cool down before using it for drinking, cooking, and brushing their teeth. The city says this notice will stay in effect until testing confirms that the water is safe again. There's more information about this on the City of Gresham's website.
And breaking news in Battleground, a family of 4 is safe after a fire at their home. Here are pictures taken by firefighters when they got there. It originally got called in as a Tesla on fire, but the fire chief says they don't think that the battery caught fire. We'll let you know when we get an update. In the meantime, Portland Fire had a busy night responding to 3 calls in just 2 hours. 2 of those calls had a massive response. So the first call came just in after midnight. Portland Fire and Rescue battled a large fire at an abandoned warehouse in northeast Portland's Elliott neighborhood. Flames were pouring from this building. Crews cut through boarded up doors and windows, you hear it there, just to get inside and knock it down. And while still on scene, they were called to a second fire in southeast Portland's Lentz neighborhood. Some kind of shed was on fire and there were concerns about a teen who often stayed inside. Firefighters quickly put out the flames and confirmed the team was safe. Both fires happened within about 2 hours. No injuries were reported and investigations are underway.
You mentioned at the top there, China, there was 3 calls altogether. So the third call came in after a car rolled into a high voltage security fence on Northeast Marine Drive. When crews got there, they were able to turn off the electricity and they got the driver out of the car, but they did have to go to the hospital for treatment. Police in the Dalles, meanwhile, are trying to figure out how human remains wound up inside an abandoned storage locker. The person who bought the locker reported finding the remains on Tuesday. And after searching the U-Haul facility on West 6th Street, investigators confirmed there were human remains inside. The medical examiner will release the person's identity after an autopsy.
That's just a little preview of what you can expect at this year's Pickathon. For the past 25 years, the music festival has helped launch the careers of artists like Lake Street Dive and Portugal the Man. The festival's founder says that they are proud to be a launching pad for up-and-coming artists.
If you don't know any of the bands, that's a feature, not a bug, because we are plugged into like bringing the bands that are going to be that huge star, and you get to see the Tyler Childers, the Marias, the Leon Bridges, all the artists that are going to be bigger than could ever play here.
Pickathon is in Happy Valley and runs through the weekend. For tickets and information, head to pickathon.com.
The Murray Hill Little League program in Beaverton has had a lot of success over the years, and the 12-year-old All-Stars are at it again this season. KGW's Orlando Sanchez has more on the final step this group needs to take to reach the Little League World Series.
There's something special.
The chemistry, and we've played together for so long.
Brewing in Beaverton.
Let's go, Bailey. Here we go, bud.
We're all like friends. We all have great bonds together. Just will never be broken.
The Murray Hill All-Stars refuse to lose.
We can say we're the best in the state, and that's something that not a lot of people can say.
Running the table to a state title.
It means a lot because our team has been wanting to do this. We were dreaming since 10U to represent Oregon, and we've seen other Murray Hill teams go.
Qualifying for the Little League Baseball Regionals in San Bernardino, California.
It's a really special experience for us because we get to go to hotels, trade pins with other teams, and get lots of special stuff.
Fun is in the forecast.
Can't imagine what the plane ride and the experience is going to be like. Team's very excited. We're going to have a fun time.
These 12-year-olds will take on the top teams from Washington, Idaho, and Alaska.
We just got to win for our state, have fun, make sure the job gets done.
The winner of the Northwest region clinches a trip to the Little League World Series.
I've been watching Little League World Series ever since I was able to understand the TV and always dreamed of being on the big screen, and our dream may finally come true, but one game at a time is all we can focus on, and we'll be ready.
Murray Hill on 3! 1, 2, 3, Murray Hill!
Again, that was Orlando Sanchez reporting for us this morning. The kids' first game in the regional tournament, by the way, is this Sunday at 6 o'clock against Idaho. It'll stream live on ESPN+.
And we will all be rooting for those little things. Adorable.
I like, go ahead, Rod.
I was going to say, they're so focused. They got all the, all we can do is focus on one game at a time. This is going to be big for us. I mean, I love their soundbite.
I do like when we bring up baseball stories here on the Sunrise Show. You give that story usually one word.
Babe.
A famous baseball chant. Babe.
Babe.
All right. We wish them well.
Rod doesn't know how to react to.
I got nothing else to go
Yeah.
to say. I can't react to that.
Okay.
Babe. Can't even do it. I can't
Weather.
Hey, better.
Go to weather.
Hey, better swing, better,
better.
swing, better. See, I can do that. Yeah. All
I'm
right,
good.
here's a look at our Chinook winds. Now I'm all messed up. I've got the wrong camera. Here's the Chehalem tasting room camera in Sherwood. There's the sun getting high up in the sky, partly cloudy from this vantage point. We had just have an absolutely lovely day upcoming. And the only drawbacks, if you will, we have low clouds at the coast up and down this morning, but those are expected to break up somewhat this afternoon. We'll see more scattered showers and thunderstorms today over in central and eastern Oregon, but not as many storms as we have been seeing. And here in the valley, with a temperature of 57 Sherwood, it's just going to be partly to mostly sunny, absolutely wonderful today. Out in the gorge, some cloudiness this morning as well, but dry weather is expected and not much wind again. This is out in Hood River, Indian Creek Golf Course, where temperatures will be in the 80s. The Hood River, probably mid-80s today, very similar to what we'll be doing in Portland temperature-wise. We have mostly sunny skies out the door. We have light winds. We have 60 degrees in town. We have 55 over in Beaverton. We've got 57 down in Sherwood, where we saw the camera, 57 in West Lynn, and also 57 down in Oregon City this morning. Again, no weather-related issues. That's Decatur. Good morning. 54 is your early morning number. Our temperature March this morning, 72 at noon, and then nearing 80 at 2 o'clock. Again, I have us getting up to about 84 for a high. This shows you temps at 6 p.m. And a reminder, yes, scattered storms again firing in parts of central and eastern Oregon, just not as many storms as we've seen. So a quieter day overall for you folks. And we'll see if all of the coast breaks out of the early morning fog and clouds or not. Here comes the 7-day. Really great weekend for the Rose City. 84 today. Morning clouds, yes, and then sun and 81 tomorrow. And then partly cloudy and perhaps only in the 70s on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, potentially. Certainly not hot. And the chance of a dab of rain, at least the chance of, late Tuesday into Wednesday morning of next week. And that is your forecast.
So to come on Sunrise, once again, the president pushes back on the start date of new tariffs. We'll have the latest in your national headlines. But first, the past meets present. How engineering students are using 3D printers and 250-year-old blueprints to bring a fiery painting to life. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues in just 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Engineering students in Australia have found a way to bring a painting from 1771 to life with help from blueprints that are 250 years old.
They're also getting help from modern technology, so it's a case of the past meeting the present.
After 250 years, a lofty vision to bring an artist's fiery painting to literal life is being realized by a pair of students in Australia who found and followed high-tech instructions from 1775. The idea was conceived by a British ambassador in the late 18th century who drafted a detailed sketch of an apparatus designed to rotate and backlight a 1771 painting of Italy's fiery Mount Vesuvius, creating an effect of luminous, flowing lava. The ambitious gizmo may never have been realized, but thankfully the design was preserved, and now, a quarter millennia later, 2 University of Melbourne engineering students have made the concept a reality by following the original instructions, building the age-old tech using modern tech like LED lighting and 3D printed materials. The resulting effect may not be mind-blowing by today's special effects standards, but I bet it would have been absolute fire in 1775. Soon, the new illuminating, animating multimedia device will headline an eye-opening exhibition in the school's library. Another discovery made at the intersection of art and history highlights a sculptor's personal stamp that was hidden for thousands of years. While prepping pieces for an upcoming exhibition, researchers with Cambridge University's Fitzwilliam Museum found a handprint emblazoned on the bottom of a 4,000-year-old clay model. They believe the imprint on this so-called soul house, a building-shaped model believed to have been used in ancient Egyptian burials, was likely made when its creator moved the still damp clay piece before it was dried in a kiln. Experts say the fascinating find offers them a rare window to the moment the piece was created ages ago by an artist who was clearly very hands-on. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
It is so just to know that people existed that long ago and we're finding things of them and history.
I think I saw steam coming from your head as it was.
Yeah.
And to think someday,
yes,
we'll be those people that people are going, wow, people lived back in 2025. That's crazy.
They actually walked like on the floor. They weren't flying. Weird.
Yes.
How long before we're flying, China?
100 years. Actually, quick story. My dad said when he was in elementary school, one of the things is they asked him to write what life would be like in 2000. And he said that cars would be flying.
Yeah.
You know, the Jetsons, not to get way off the topic here, but the Jetsons, the cartoon show, was based apparently in like the year 2060.
Oh, I did not know that.
So we're like only like 40 years away or 35 years away from what that was supposed to be.
Well, I think one of the Back to the Future trilogies of Michael J. Fox had flying cars, too.
Yeah? Yeah, that was only like 2015. That was 10 years ago.
So we're behind schedule.
What are we doing here, people?
All right. I hope you'll appreciate this map. It's my favorite map of the morning. And it's a simple map. And the point of it is, for August 1st, our wildfire season is very quiet. And of course, that is just terrifically good news. So how many large fires, named large fires, do we have burning in the state of Oregon right now? And the answer is only 2. And it's these 2 that started earlier this week, back on the 29th. The Lost Tom and the Rock Creek, both near the Idaho border, both reported as burning out in grasslands with no residences threatened. And then up in Washington, there's the Burdoin fire, which you know is mainly contained in Skamania County. The other fires are up across the northern tier of the state, and there's only 7 of those. I don't have facts in front of me, so I'm speaking in generality, but I simply do not recall a fire season August 1st with the large wildfire map this quiet. Now, clearly, we have a long ways to go. We have to get through August, we have to get through September, we have to get in October. And clearly, here locally, the sadness of the season has, without question, been the 2 fires we've had out in the gorge where we did lose so many homes. And let's just pray that we don't have any more fires in the gorge this season. Okay, so with that said, let's get you going out the door on a Friday. We've got showers kind of in the north central part of our state. We've got an ongoing thunderstorm threat once again today as you look at the futurecast. This is 11 o'clock this morning. But we're not expecting as many storms today, to the point that the red flag warnings for high fire danger have been dropped because we are not expecting as much lightning in our state today. And we've gotten through this week without any overly significant fire starts. So that's terrific news. Again, 11 o'clock this morning, this shows the coast starting to clear out. It does show clouds still up around Astoria in the mouth of the Columbia. It shows some showers over out toward the Blues. Then those get going into some afternoon thunderstorms. And here's a thunderstorm chance racing up the South Oregon Cascades. So again, some activity, just not as much as we have been seeing. It shows all of the sunshine here on the west side this evening at 7:01. So overall, pretty nice day. Here's Schnuckwin's Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. Actually, a dense fog advisory is posted. So the fog is dense in some areas. We saw earlier in the show, like Tillamook Heads just socked in up around Seaside, for example. Timberline Lodge camera, there's some cloudiness out there looking south down the range this morning. It's 59 degrees up at 6,000 feet, by the way. Downtown Portland, just a beautiful sunny start. We're at 60. Temperatures 50s and 60s, pretty typical for this time of the morning. If you are at the beach, we're looking again for partial clearing this afternoon. Temperatures in the areas that get some decent sun could approach 70, but mostly in the 60s. Portland with mostly sunny. More sun today than we've seen the last couple of days. 84. Tomorrow, morning clouds and sun, 81. And then 77 on Sunday. And then we could be in the 70s through Tuesday. We're eyeing a chance of a raindrop, literally a chance of a raindrop, late Tuesday into Wednesday morning. And that is your incredibly comfortable 7-day forecast as our new month of August begins.
Thank you, Rod. All right, your time now is 7:19. Let's take a look at those drive times looking good. Friday light for you. Main Street to I-405, 9 minutes. Patton Parkway to I-84, 11.
Still to come here on Sunrise, millions of student loan borrowers in the U.S. faced with growing interest on their loans. That story and other national headlines coming up when Sunrise, streaming live at 7 o'clock, continues.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Tariffs that were supposed to kick in today will begin next Thursday instead for countries that have not yet reached a trade deal with the U.S. So that means some U.S. trading partners have a little more time to negotiate. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest on this from Washington, D.C.
It's deadline day for President Trump's sweeping tariffs, resetting global trade relations. He moved to formalize tariff rates of at least 10 to 15% for most countries, some soaring up to 30, 40, even 50%, now set to take effect August 7th.
We have made a few deals today that are excellent deals for the country. You know, we're taking in literally trillions of dollars for the country.
The president touting agreements with the European Union, Japan, and South Korea, though deals with other top trading partners, Canada, Mexico, and China, remain unresolved. Mexico getting a 90-day extension to keep negotiating. China's high rates pause too, with the Treasury Secretary noting significant progress toward a deal.
I'm confident that it will be done, but it's not 100% done.
But Canada, where months of trade tensions have bruised U.S. relations, still faces a punishing 35% tariff rate.
They have to pay a fair rate. That's all. It's very simple.
In a new phone interview with NBC News, President Trump saying the more than $26 billion in tariff revenue the Treasury Department reported last month is just the beginning. Though that money comes from U.S. businesses paying more to import materials and goods from abroad and often passing added costs on to customers, a concern underscored by Democrats.
It's estimated the average household pays $2,400 a year extra. That sure doesn't sound like a golden age to me.
As the president tells NBC News, the only price spiking is the hundreds of billions of dollars coming into the U.S. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Here's a look at some other national headlines with your morning rush. Starting today, millions of student loan borrowers could see their balances grow. The Trump administration is ending a pause on interest accrual for people enrolled in the SAVE plan. Legal challenges kept payments and interest frozen since last summer, but interest will start adding up again, even if monthly payments are still on hold. The Education Department says borrowers may qualify for forbearance or could switch to a different repayment plan to avoid extra costs. The FDA is changing warning labels for prescription painkillers. The updated labels will better reflect the risks of long-term use, including dependence, withdrawal, and overdose. The FDA says the new labels will include warnings about higher doses, interactions with nerve medications, and the use of overdose reversal drugs. Moderna plans to cut 10% of its global workforce by the end of the year, dropping below 5,000 employees. The company also expects approval soon for its RSV shot, which would be its first non-COVID vaccine. The company stock is down over 20% this year. And that's a look at your morning rush. Senate Republicans blocked a new push by Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley to force the release of files related to Jeffrey Epstein. Senator Merkley introduced the Epstein Files Transparency Act on the Senate floor this week. This bill would have directed the Justice Department to publicly release all files related to the investigation into Epstein and his associates. KGW's Stephanie Domerat sat down with Senator Merkley on Straight Talk and asked why he felt it was necessary to introduce this bill.
They should have been released under President Obama. They should be released under President Trump. And if there are powerful people who are involved in this, who are hiding behind the government blocking the release, well, I say hold them accountable. Let's get full transparency.
Merkley, thank you so much for being with us today.
Again, you can watch the full edition of Straight Talk coming up this week, where they talked about a lot of issues, including Merkley's stance on the state of the Democratic Party. The full episode airs Saturday and Sunday night at 6:30. You can also catch it Monday night on KGW at 7 o'clock or watch it anytime right here on KGW+. Coming up in our next half hour of Sunrise, federal budget cuts leave a tribal radio station in Warm Springs fighting to stay on the air. We're going to hear from the station manager who talks about how the community could lose access to vital programming. Plus, Washington State troopers cracking down on speeders in construction zones. How much a fine would be if you do get caught speeding when Sunrise continues.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Well, Friday morning underway. I'm meteorologist Rod Hill. We have one area generally getting some rain up here in north central Oregon. There's no lightning with this, but some heftier rain rates starting to mix in. And there will be more scattered showers and storms east of the Cascades developing during the day, but not as much action as we have been seeing. It's a little quieter overall. Just partly to mostly sunny skies throughout your Friday here in the Willamette Valley. There's our state capital, our Salem Live Sky Cam. 61 degrees outside. Portland, a lot of blue, beautiful morning, and we're at 60 with light winds. I have a 72 at noon and getting up to about 84 With fewer storms today east of the Cascades, there will be less cloud cover getting blown over our way. So we'll see again more sun than we have been seeing. The weekend looks really great. Here it is. Morning cloud cover tomorrow, at least here in the North Valley, the Rose City and Vancouver, then sun 81. And then cooling down additionally, only 77 with a partly cloudy Sunday, really comfortable. And we could stay in the 70s all the way into Tuesday. We could see a raindrop Tuesday night, Wednesday morning.
Okay, I know a lot of people are still enjoying their summers, considering it's August 1st and Halloween is still 2 months away. But Home Depot, they said the time is now. They are getting ready for the holiday.
Grief.
Yeah, Home Depot's iconic giant 12-foot skeleton is back. This year, he brought some friends with that thing. Skeleton dog, and there's even cats.
What the heck?
Yeah, people can purchase these spooky decorations online starting on Monday.
So I know at least in our neighborhood, this is on the rise. People decorating for Halloween like they decorate for Christmas in their yards.
And it's really 3 months away because it's the end of October.
Yeah, August,
so it's
September,
these are not uncommon now, though. I've noticed these giant 12-foot tall, there's a few of them in our neighborhood, or at least when I'm driving into work. And they're up year round, too, some of these.
We have a neighbor, if you're watching us, my wife doesn't like it, but I think it's okay.
It's up year round.
It's up year round, yeah, absolutely.
But if it's not, where do you store it?
Well, that's the thing,
Where does it go?
Yeah, the easiest storage spot is right where it's at. All right, Rod is here year round as well. He has a look at today's forecast.
Yeah, we have a really nice day. It is another cloudy start for the coast. I wish I had stats on this. I don't, but it just seems like, certainly going back to July 1, it has been an unusually cloudy summer for the beaches. Now, I've heard some of you send me messages, or I've read that you feel the same way. This is another day with morning clouds, and we're looking for partial afternoon clearing, 55. There's actually a fog advisory in play right now, and parts of the coast are really socked in. You know, you get inland and it's all sunny. There's no marine push. It's also partly cloudy and sunny up into Cowlitz County and up through Vancouver this morning. Portland looking at an early morning number of 60. So with the sun, more than we've had the last couple of days, we'll be 72 at noon, and then we get up to 84, which, by the way, is the exact climate average high temp for the very first day of August. Back to you.
Your time is 7:32. Taking a look at your drive times right now. Green is go. Everything is Friday light, as Chris McGinnis would say. Brookwood Parkway to I-405, 15 minutes, 16 minutes, 17 minutes. The usual. You're looking good on a Friday.
We do have some breaking news to get to here at 7:30. Take a look at this surveillance video from the Bird Alliance of Oregon, which says someone broke into enclosures at its wildlife care center overnight. So this just happened in the last few hours. The Alliance says the intruder released some of the birds that were in their care. They believe at least one of those birds was killed after it was released. They say likely by a predator. They also say whoever broke in here damaged the enclosure. They threw supplies around, so anyone with any information about what happened should contact police.
And now to an update on a deadly police shooting that happened earlier this week in Springfield, Oregon. The two officers who were stabbed are now out of the hospital and recovering from their injuries. Investigators say it all started with a report of a man acting disorderly inside a car wash. They say the man attacked police and was shot by a Springfield officer while being arrested. Meantime, the man Portland police say they arrested twice this week for lighting fires around the city has pleaded not guilty. A judge ruled yesterday that Aubrey Edwards will stay in custody. He faces 15 charges related to fires set in the area over 2 weekends. He's accused of setting more fires Wednesday, just hours after he was released from jail. Investigators say he set cars, garbage cans, mattresses on fire, damaging several blocks between North Portland and downtown. So police are asking anyone with security or doorbell video of those fires to come forward. Your time now is 7:33. After months of pressure from the Trump administration, Portland Mayor Keith Wilson is directing the city to change its diversity, equity, and inclusion policies.
This doesn't mean DEI is going away altogether, but the city is making changes to comply with the Trump administration's orders. Here's KGW's Alma McCarty with the details.
Now in effect, this executive order from Mayor Keith Wilson, ensuring city programs and policies do not violate federal anti-discrimination law. In other words, they cannot give preference to groups with protected class status based on characteristics such as race or gender. According to the city's legal team, Portland needs to adjust 75 programs and policies. It comes as a response to President Trump's executive order, signed a day after he was sworn into office, going after diversity, equity, and inclusion policies across the nation. The mayor said in a statement that this decision, while challenging, is in the best interest of Portlanders, citing millions of dollars in grants from the federal government on the line. City officials are managing nearly $350 million in active federal grants and $31 million in new federal agreements the mayor stressed must be signed in the coming weeks. City Council President Ilana Pertolgini and Councilor Samir Kanal responded to the decision. Pertolgini writing in part, "I want to ensure our community partners continue to receive funding for critical programs, while also continuing to make policies guided by our community's values. The mayor's order allows us to do both." Kanal said he's furious with the Trump administration's threats to federal grants, calling it unacceptable that the federal government has attacked the work we've done to remedy past harms in systemic inequities in order to demolish any progress toward racial and gender equity. Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Meantime, the city of Seattle is suing the Trump administration over 2 executive orders targeting DEI efforts and the LGBTQ+ community. One of the executive orders defines gender as biological and restricts protections for gender identity. The second order slashes diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in favor of merit-based systems. The city leaders say $370 million in federal funding is at stake.
The part that the president's taking issue with is unrelated to the grants that we're particularly using. A lot of it is SDOT funding for infrastructure.
The city attorney is resting her argument on the Civil Rights Act of 1964, claiming the federal government is unlawfully coercing cities by tying essential funding to unrelated political conditions.
There have been 7 suspected cases of tuberculosis at the ICE processing center in Tacoma. This facility houses people from all over the Northwest who have been arrested by ICE agents. The attorney for one of the people with tuberculosis says his client was recently at a correctional facility in Alaska where dozens of people were exposed to the disease in June. Washington State Department of Health confirmed these cases, but directed all inquiries about this to ICE. And so far, ICE has not responded to requests for comment.
In Central Oregon, a tribal radio station is fighting to stay on the air after suffering federal budget cuts. KWSO, which broadcasts from the Warm Springs Reservation, has lost 40% of its funding, amounting to hundreds of thousands of dollars. The station serves 3 confederated tribes and provides local news and information not reported by other media outlets. The station manager says the cuts threaten the jobs of 2 of their 6 employees. On top of that, she says the community could lose access to vital programming.
Native America Calling in National Native News, and those are programs that people here love and tune in for like every day at 10 o'clock. There'll be like a void where probably incorrect information will grow.
KWSO may also lose its automated content delivery system and will have to consider making cuts to repairs and maintenance, the station's website, streaming, as well as community projects.
Portland-based Mercy Corps says it has pallets of aid for Gaza, but is still waiting for permission to have it delivered. There's pressure on Israel right now to end what has been a growing crisis by providing Palestinians in Gaza with more food and other needed supplies. Photos of malnourished children and reports of starvation have outraged people all around the world. Mercy Corps says it has more than 1,300 pallets of aid sitting nearby in Jordan and Egypt. It says it's ready to go to Gaza, but the humanitarian organization also says they haven't been allowed through for months.
So this is not a logistics problem. It's not a coordination problem. This is a political problem because we have unfortunately seen Israel blocking aid and commercial goods to only a tiny trickle getting into Gaza over the last several months.
Mercy Corps says some food kits were sitting around for so long, they expired and had to be thrown away.
The Oregon Health Authority has issued a health advisory for Ekman Lake in Lincoln County. It's due to the presence of blue-green algae, so people should avoid swimming in the lake and doing high-speed activities like water skiing. You should also keep children and pets away from the area.
All right, we have a cougar sighting in Corvallis. Take a look at the size of this big cat. This was like in a neighborhood. Lots of homes nearby. Someone took this picture yesterday after the cougar killed a deer and then buried the deer under a porch near Northwest John Place and Sunview Drive, if you're familiar with that area. Police say the cougar might stick around to keep watch on its prey, so they're telling people to keep small pets and children inside. If you see that cougar, you should call the Corvallis Police Department.
That is terrifying. What do you think Maximus would do if it came face to face with that?
I know we have deers in our backyard, and Maximus will just sit on the deck or the window and not make a sound, and just do this until the deer leaves, but not make a sound. So I'm guessing if he saw a cougar, he would, by instinct, find out where I am and then get right behind me.
And what would you do?
And then we would both get behind my wife, of course, yeah.
Right, right, there it is, there it is.
Do you have a forecast for us, Rodney?
We do.
Fearless
yes.
Rodney.
Good morning. Here's our Timberline Lodge camera. If you're going up to the high country today to do some hiking, for example, even at Timberline, temperatures will hit 70, and it'll be about the same 70, 72 down at Government Camp at pass level. It's 58, clearly some clouds, and this cloudiness is, yes, from storm showers that were overnight, but the storm numbers today east of the Cascades expected to be quite a bit less than prior day. That opened the door, at least here in the valley, for us to have less cloudiness drifting overhead and more in the way of sun. And certainly we're off to a sunny start. Here's the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club out in Aloha. Beautiful shot. Looking off to the west, it's 60 degrees right now. Here come your temps. Nothing unusual here. Really pleasant. Still mid-50s up in Scappoose and Beaverton and Hillsboro. At 56 and 56. Salem, good morning. You're at 61. Still mid-50s out in Estacada, where it is 54 out in Wine Country. McMinnville is at 57 degrees. Miso is our KGW dog of the day. Look at that. Beautiful. Dog of the day at kgw.com. Send us your photos of your dogs, their name, and your dog will become our dog of the day. Okay, so I mentioned, yes, we have more thunderstorm activity expected central and eastern Oregon to fire up as the day progresses, especially later this afternoon. But far less storms to the point that the red flag warnings for fire danger has actually been dropped. So that's good news. We have generally 80s inland today, and then we'll see how much partial clearing we get at the coast where it is cloudy and foggy right now. 7-day forecast, great weekend coming up. 84 today, lots of sun. Morning clouds, at least for the North Valley, Portland, and Vancouver tomorrow, then sun and 81. And then could we really, on the third day of August, be only 77 and partly cloudy on Sunday, and only in the 70s on Monday, and only in the 70s on Tuesday, with at least the threat of a raindrop, literally just the threat of a raindrop, late Tuesday into Wednesday morning. That's your update.
Thank you, Rod.
If you're driving too fast, you're making a decision, and you're making a bad decision.
Yeah, that's what the Washington State Patrol is trying to prevent in construction zones. Troopers are using speed cameras to catch drivers. Right now, the cameras are in a handful of places around the Puget Sound area, but the goal is to have them all over the state.
The desired effect is deterrence. It's not so much enforcement. It's not. We're not in this to make money. We're not in this to get those fines.
So for now, drivers get one warning. After that, it's a $125 fine. Those warnings will end next July.
Washington's Department of Health introduced a new tool to help people in the state deal with drug overdoses. It's an online locator that can quickly find free doses of Narcan. Narcan, if you're not familiar, is the life-saving medication that can reverse the effects of an opioid overdose and return people to normal breathing. According to Washington's Department of Health, Narcan is safe to use on people of all ages and also on pets, and it does not require any special training to administer it. Go Pac-Man, go. Did you know the best arcade in the U.S. may be closer than you think? Coming up here in 2 minutes, where you can find classic games like Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and Mortal Kombat right here in the Portland area. Sunrise streaming live at 7 o'clock continues after this.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
It's been really special to us to feel like we built something that people really love and connect with.
So get this, Newsweek named this arcade in Hillsboro the very best in the U.S.
As KGW's John Adams found, the 27,000 square foot Next Level Pinball Museum has something for everyone.
Walking through the Next Level Pinball Museum in Hillsboro is like taking a stroll down memory lane.
We are floor-to-ceiling vintage toys and collectibles, signed movie paraphernalia, world's largest lunchbox collection, and then, like I said, on top of that, the second largest arcade in the world.
The arcade opened its doors in 2017 as a way for the owners to pay homage to their father, a vintage toy collector. Museum director Connor Stowe says they've been adding onto the building every few years since.
What I really like is we're nerds. So when we, when people keep coming and they keep enjoying themselves here, we're just like, awesome, let's make more games. Let's get more stuff to the walls. Let's add more to the collection.
Whether you are getting lost in a 1980s pinball game or enjoying some of the vintage toys, time has a way of getting away from you here. Just ask Oliver Bosley. He enjoys Next Level so much, he came back today to celebrate his 13th birthday.
Wow, we once spent 5 hours here without even knowing we spent 5 hours here.
For others, the trip through time allows generations of family members to relate to each other in a new way.
It's all just the nostalgia stuff on the walls too, being like, oh, I had that toy growing up, or I had that comic book too. So it's all just the little itty bitty stuff that really just adds up to it.
Stowe tells us it's a huge honor to be named best in the U.S., but recognition has never been what this arcade has truly been about.
Whether you're a 6-year-old kid, your mom and dad, your grandma and grandpa want to come in, we want to make sure that every single person has something from their childhood.
Just to give you an idea of how many games they have here at Next Level, if you play just one round on each one of the machines available, it would take you almost 4 days to play each one of the nearly 700 machines. In Hillsboro, John Adams, KGW News.
So we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
$22 is what it costs to get in. There's an admission fee of $22, but then
you just go in and have fun.
Just go.
That's fantastic.
The people in that story, one of the people John talked to, were there for 5 hours. Where can you go and have fun for 5 hours around here for $22?
This potentially is a great date night because you bring your date there, you pay the $22, not that bad. You go, you have a great time. Then before you know it, you're like, oh my gosh, I was going to take us out to a nice dinner and everything, and now we don't have time because we've been having so much fun here.
And then you don't go on a second date.
That saves you money too. Yes.
A man of many first dates, Rod Hill.
Let's get you out there. I love that story, though. That's fun. All right, we've got one spot. I mean, a couple little straggler showers up in Umatilla County near Pendleton, but most of the action this morning is here in the Condon area. There's no lightning detection this morning. I've been watching this, but we've got some heavier rains where you see the yellow, and this has just been kind of meandering around the same area for a while. To me, the biggest headline in our local weather today is, yes, we are expecting more scattered thunderstorms, central and eastern Oregon, but not as many storms as we've had the last couple of days. And with the decrease in lightning expected overall, and this could change, but right now, all of the fire weather warnings or red flag warnings have been dropped. So hopefully we get through our day without much lightning, and we continue to not see any of the red flag warnings issued. We are in the convective outlook or thunderstorm outlook for possibility again, where you see the light green shading in central, eastern, and southern areas of our state. Here's the way Futurecast shows it. You're going to notice, if you've been watching our weather every day going back to Monday, not nearly the number of thunderstorm or showers popping up on Futurecast as we have been seeing. Now, at 11 o'clock this morning, this shows, which may or may not be correct, but it does show the potential for some clearing already along the coast. A lot of sun from Portland down south into Medford, partly cloudy up into Seattle, showers out in the northeast. Those turn into maybe some thunderstorms at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Here's potentially some thunderstorms coming up the east slope of the southern Cascades and maybe migrating into Bend. at 7 o'clock. So, clearly if you got a good thunderstorm over your head, you're like, well, this is as much activity as we have been seeing. But overall, not the number of storms today expected that we have been seeing. This is Saturday morning. This is another push of cloud cover, marine clouds at the beach to start your Saturday. And this actually shows a weak push of marine clouds coming through Kelso, Longview, and spilling down into Portland. Then those clouds will go away, and tomorrow afternoon should be really great. So the temperatures are just going to be wonderfully pleasant the next several days. Here we are, our Salem live camera this morning, out the door with a temperature of 61 degrees. Here's downtown. Look at all the sunshine. We're at 60 degrees. We have light winds. Here are the other numbers, kind of where we've been morning after morning. It's 64 right now in Bend. It's 69 out in the Dalles. A west breeze, generally 10 to 20 in the gorge today. Haven't had a lot of wind in the gorge this week. Not expecting a lot today. At the coast, we'll need partly cloudy or partial clearing to get temperatures to the mid to upper 60s. I mentioned gorge winds, not bad. Westerlies 10 to 20, peak gusts to about 25. The Dow's expected to hit 90, 91, but Hood River holding about 86. Valley forecast numbers, warm, but not crazy, mid to upper 80s around Salem, Corvallis, and McMinnville. I have Portland at 84. Today, warmer than the upcoming days. Tomorrow, clouds to sun, 81. Partly cloudy, only 77 on Sunday, third day of August.
Michael.
Wow. And then maybe in the 70s all the way into Tuesday. We are watching, and Matt had this on his 7-day last night, the chance for a raindrop late Tuesday into Wednesday morning. Just a chance, and that's your forecast.
Thank you, Rod. Your time now is let's see.
Let's talk about that time again.
7. I thought it was 6 o'clock. 7:51 on your Friday. Let's take a look at your drive times. A little slower from Brookwood Parkway to I-405. Going to take you 19 minutes, but Troutdale to I-5 and Wilsonville Road to Markham Bridge about 17, 18 minutes. So looks good out there. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Oregon City is orchestrating a plan to boost fish populations, including endangered coho salmon.
Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz explains how city officials found a unique way to make a big difference.
All day long here in Clackamas County, helicopters have been in the sky, moving whole trees hundreds of yards before plopping them in the Abernathy Creek, all in hopes of restoring fish populations. Members of the Oregon City Watershed Council say fish like coho salmon, steelhead trout, and lampreys thrive in water with wood. Those logs create deep, cool, clean pools of water where fish spawn. Historically, Abernathy Creek was chock full of that habitat. But that changed when people started logging in the area and instead using the creek to move wood. Now, through a project that's been 10 years in the making, helicopters are carting almost 300 logs back into the water to restore the habitat.
The landscape that we live on is a landscape that's been inhabited for thousands of years, and what we need to do is get back to a place where we have that kind of health of these native fish.
Tom Gaskell with the Oregon City Watershed says the project got a big boost with $600,000 in funding from NOAA. And this is the first time the Oregon City Watershed has embarked and coordinated a project this big all on its own, all in hopes of restoring native habitat and bringing a whole lot of fish back to the area. In Clackamas County, Thomas Schultz, KGW News.
We're working on a little project of our own over here at KGW. This year's KGW School Supply Drive kicks off today. One of the easiest ways you can help out is by going online. Go to kgw.com/school, click that donate cash button. And when you give online, you get something too. We're going to give you a pass to the Columbia Sportswear Employee Store. Also, a heads up about next week. Next week, On Point Community Credit Union is giving $5 every time someone donates $1 at any of its branches. A big thanks not only to On Point, but also Safeway and Rick's Custom Fencing for everything they're doing to help make this year's school supply drive a success.
Coming up at 8, KGW Sunrise continues live on KGW Plus with the latest on multiple fires that kept Portland Fire busy overnight.
Plus, more on the local police officer indicted on more than 50 charges of sexual misconduct with an underage girl. He's been part of the Gresham Police Force for more than a decade. We're going to have a live report on that coming up again in our 8 o'clock hour. That is just 3 minutes away, so stay tuned right here on KGW Plus for an entire hour of news, weather, and traffic.